So you've had the cylinder head off of your 2.4 liter Toyota engine, and you want to know if the cam's set up right and the timing chain set up right. I'm Brian Essa from How To Automotive, and I'm going to show you how I set this up. So your timing chain is going to have 3 links on it that are painted or different color. Or in my case, they're gold, but I went ahead and put a little white out on it so they'll stand out for the camera. They didn't show it very well. This is the original chain on this car, so I'm reusing it. So I wanted to show you how I had the cylinder head off, and I wanted to show you how I set the cams up so you know that you got them right. Because on the exhaust cam here, it actually has 3 notches on it. So I wanted to show you how to set it up. But first, we're going to start down at the bottom of the engine, and we're going to set the crank. So you want to rotate the crank until the piston's at the top dead center, and when you know you're there, you'll have the little dot right here on the side will be kind of lined up with this little line on this block here where the bearing cap for the crank goes. So the dot will be lined up with that, and then the keyway will be vertical. Once you get your crank lined up, then you're going to put the gold chain that's correspondent to the crank. So you'll put that with the dot, lined up with the dot. And the way you know it's the right one for the crank is the 2 cam links are close together. So the 2 that are close together go for the cam, and the one that's pretty far away, that one's for the crank. And sometimes it's actually painted a different color on some chains. The dot lined up with the cam bearing right there, like that, and I got my gold link on the one with the dot. So now we're going to go up the VVT cam, which is the intake cam. There's a little wrench mark back here where you can put a wrench on and rotate it with. A 24mm wrench will fit on it right here, and you can rotate the cam to get it up. So it has 2 marks on it. One mark that only goes halfway through the VVT valve, and the other one goes through the VVT valve and onto the cam gear. The one that goes all the way through onto the cam gear is the one you want to line up. Okay, and there's a little arrow. I put a little white out on it, but there's a little arrow stamped into the bearing cap here, and you want that slash mark to line up with that little arrow right there. So once you got the cam in line, then you put the chain on with the link right on the slash mark, the gold link. And also, if you look at the cam lobes itself, they're pointing kind of upwards. That's indicating that the valves are closed. So now on the exhaust side, you want the valves to be closed also. So like I told you, there was 3 marks on here. There's it just has a dot, and then it has a dot with the intake, and a dot with the word exhaust or exhaust stamped on it. In this case, you want the dot that doesn't have anything written on it to line up. And there's a little tiny, I kind of covered it up with my whiteout, but right on top of the bearing cap, right next to the bolt, there's a little arrow right there. So you want that dot to line up with that arrow right there. And the way you know you got it set up right is the cam lobes are pointing upwards, and the valve is closed. Both of the valves are closed. And we're setting this up on the compression stroke, and when on the compression stroke, intake and exhaust valves will be closed. That way it builds up pressure when the piston comes up. So after you get that set up, then you can go ahead and put on your guides. And that's how you set up the timing chain on a Toyota 2.4 liter engine. I'm Brian Essa from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos, encourage you to subscribe, and invite you to head over to the howtoautomotive.com website for more valuable videos like this. Thank you again for watching.